So Young Griff is going to successfully take the Iron Throne, which will make it the first successful Blackfire Rebellion, the sixth Blackfire Rebellion. But I also think he'll be the last person to sit the Iron Throne. So here's the theory. And it has to do with a couple of things in the story that have been hinted at fairly heavily. The first is a plague, or a epidemic. Throughout Feast and Dance, we get lots of hints that there's going to be some kind of plague, or just characters talking about plagues, often enough that it feels like it's going to happen again. For example, Illyrio tells Tyrion about when the plague hit Pentos, and his wife Sarah passed away in that, the Grey Plague. We also have it happening over in Meereen with the Pale Mare it's come across. And Val, Bella's sister, the Wildling Princess, up at the wall, is very against the idea of Shireen being anywhere near Monster Gilly's baby. And that's because Shireen used to have grayscale. And as far as Val is concerned, she still does. It's just dormant. It's not gone. Well, there's another character with grayscale that we know in the story. In the show, it was Jorah, but in the story, it's a character named John Connington. And he contracted it at the Sorrows and brought it with him over to Westeros. And I think that's a bit of a hint that the Golden Company as a whole may have brought over some more sickness or a plague with them. And it's going to afflict King's Landing. So after Young Griff takes King's Landing and sits the Iron Throne, there's going to be a plague, and sickness is going to spread. Well, this wouldn't be the first time that there's been a plague in the Seven Kingdoms, and specifically in King's Landing. Bit of a spoiler here for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but later on, in between the first and second season, there is going to be a plague in King's Landing called the Spring Sickness. And what they do during the Spring Sickness to help deal with all of the people who passed away during it is they take the bodies of the deceased and they pile them up in the dragon pit and then burn them with wildfire. And that takes us to the second thing, which I think is heavily hinted at in the story, and it is wildfire, and it igniting. Because last time when they used wildfire to burn the dead, there wasn't caches of wildfire all over the place under the ground. But now there is, because Aerys II planted it all over. So now with these caches of wildfire all over the city, when they burn all the dead, it's going to ignite them and destroy the city. Which I think will bring an end to the Blackfire Rebellion, to Aegon or Fagon sitting the throne, Young Griff, and also to the city and the Iron Throne itself. I picture it kind of being like a Doom of Valyria, except instead of it being real Targaryens, it's fake Targaryens. So instead of real fire, it's fake wildfire. Right, instead of it being from the 14 flames, it's from caches of wildfire instead. Also, Sansa might be there, but that's a different story.